You are listening to the Cricket Corner podcast with me, Vatsal Vora. Oh my word, what was that? My god, that was completely ruthless from the Indian side, and they have once again demolished Sri Lanka in a span of just a couple of months. Welcome back to the Cricket Corner podcast with me. Once again, a happy, smiling, full of adrenaline Vatsal Vora, where India have just destroyed Sri Lanka by a whopping 302 runs at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. A repeat of the 2011 World Cup final. Well, the game wasn't even close this time around. It was close back in 2011, but India won. Today, it was a complete battering, and a battering with a capital B there. My god, the Indian fast bowling attack, the likes of Bumrah, Siraj, Shami are out of this world. When I was growing up, I have seen so many good bowling trios. I've seen the likes of Brett Lee, Glenn McGrath, Jason Gillespie for Australia, the likes of, who were the South Africans? Sean Pollock, Makhaya and Tini, Andre Nell, and in recent history we have had Cummins, Stark and Hazelwood for Australia as well, but Mohammad Sami, Mohammad Siraj and Jasprit Bumrah are just out of this world and have taken India to yet another victory here today. We saw their bowling prowess against England just a couple of days back, where they dismissed the defending champions for 129 runs. Today, they have dismissed Sri Lanka for just 55 of 19.4 overs. Credit to Sri Lanka, they scored 5 more runs than they did in the Asia Cup final back in August, early September, where they were 50 not out. This was so similar to that Asia Cup final victory that India had all the way back in September. But once again, credit to the Indian bowlers as well. We'll talk about the Indian batting, which saw them post a mammoth 357 from their quota of 50 overs, not 20 overs. But I think it is only right that we start this podcast by talking about the second innings and the masterful Indian bowling. Jasprit Bumrah picking up a wicket on the very first delivery of the game, getting Pathum Nissanka trapped in front. There was absolutely no doubt in my mind that was clipping the wickets. Sri Lanka did take a review on that occasion because it was just the first delivery of the game, but the replays and the Hawkeye showed it quite clearly that the ball would have hit stumps. Yes, it was umpire's call in the end, but when you see that delivery from naked eye, it was very much plumb in front, and there was no doubt in my mind that Nissanka is dismissed. Then the very next over, what happens? Mohammad Siraj is given the new ball. Now, before we talk about Mohammad Siraj and his wickets, let's talk about him in general in this World Cup. Prior to this match, he had picked up just 6 wickets from 6 matches. He's played all 6 matches, and his best was like 2 for 50, which was against Pakistan in Ahmedabad. So when I say that Mohammad Siraj has not found his rhythm in this World Cup, I wouldn't be the only one to say that. We expect a lot from Mohammad Siraj, and particularly after what he did in that Asia Cup final against Sri Lanka, where he picked up 4 wickets in an over, ended up with a 6 for dismissing Sri Lanka for just 50 runs in Colombo. But credit to the Indian management, they stuck with Mohammad Siraj. There have been a lot of talks circulating whether he should be in the starting 11 or not, and there have been question marks surrounding his pick once Hardik Pandya eventually returns from injury towards the latter stages of the World Cup. But today, he was just outstanding. Jasprit Bumrah picked up a wicket from his very first delivery, and Mohammad Siraj was like, well, I really enjoyed what you did there. I'm going to do that myself. And he picked up Dimuth Karunaratne LBW, and both of them were dismissed for a knot of just 1 delivery. Golden duck for the Sri Lankan opening pair, and Mohammad Siraj was just flamboyant. 3 wickets for 16 runs, picking up the wickets of Karunaratne, captain Kushal Mendes and Samar Vikrama as well. The Samar Vikrama wicket was caught behind and Kushal Mendis was just cleaned up by Mohammad Siraj. But we are 5 minutes into the podcast. We have talked so highly of the Indian bowling attack and we are yet to talk about Mohammad Shami. So let's talk about him now. Yet again, another brilliant 5-wicket haul for Mohammad Shami. 5 for 18 from his spell of 5 overs, bowling a maiden as well. How shall I put it? The absentee of Hardik Pandya has been a blessing in disguise as far as Mohammad Shami is concerned. Since his return to the Indian ODI setup in this World Cup, he's picked up 5 wickets against New Zealand, picked up 4 wickets against England at Lucknow on Sunday, and now here in Mumbai is chipped in with another 5-wicket haul, making him the highest wicket taker, the highest wicket taking Indian bowler in World Cup history, surpassing the greats Javagal Srinath and Zahir Khan in the process. Outstanding, completely brilliant bowling. He once again, despite his prowess with the new ball against England, Rohit Sharma stuck with Mohammad Siraj and decided to give him the new ball. But once again, Mohammad Shami was the first change and he was given the ball by Captain Rohit Sharma on the 9th over, after 9 overs, and I think he picked up a wicket in the very first over as well. I think he picked up the wicket of Chanith Asalanka. He was dismissed for 1 of 24 deliveries. That's how well India bowled, that even batsman of Asalanka's prowess had to face 24 deliveries and he just scored 1 run and was completely bamboozled by Mohammad Shami. Mohammad Shami picking up the wickets of Asalanka, Angelo Matthews, Hemantha, Dushmantha Chamira, and the wicket of Rajitha as well. So many tongue twisters these Sri Lankan names are. I'm just kidding there. So yeah, 5 for 18 for him, 3 for 16 for Mohammad Siraj, 1 wicket apiece for Bumrah and Ravindra Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja picking up the final wicket of Madhushanka, where it was all done and dusted. I think it was done and dusted way too early. When Hemantha was dismissed, it was 14 for 6 and I think the game was over well before that as well. But the more you talk about the Indian bowling, it feels like you are not covering the majority of the things surrounding them. I think I said the same about them when I was doing the podcast after the England win, is that you talk about Indian bowling, you feel like you have talked and covered everything, but you always feel like there's so much more to talk about. The perfect line and length from the likes of Shami and Siraj, Bumrah bowling some juicy full length deliveries and trapping the likes of Pathum Nissanka up front as well. If you personally ask me which one would be my favorite wicket, I don't quite remember who it was, but it was a DRS call and it was KL Rahul who was the man who took the DRS call. I think it was Chamira's wicket. Mohammad Shami bowled a shortish delivery on leg stump. It was going for a wide. Chamira did try to flick the ball and the ball was gathered behind the stumps by KL Rahul diving to his left. Now it was KL Rahul who went up with an appeal. So did the slip cord, and I think Virat Kohli and others who were fielding in the slips also went up with a half-hearted appeal. And the umpire gave the ball as a wide ball. But then it was KL Rahul was so adamant that there was a bit of flick of the glove of Chamira's gloves, that he persuaded Captain Rohit Sharma to take that review. I think he was the only one out of the 11 Indian players on the pitch that wanted to take that review. Hesitantly or not, Rohit Sharma did take that review, and in the end, on the ball, on the sneakometer or whatever you call these days, there was a bit of flick when the ball passed Chamira's gloves, and the smile after that from KL Rahul, it was just mind-blowing. Yes, the wicket obviously goes into the account of Mohammad Shami there, but I think if there is all of a sudden a new rule which gives wickets to fielders, I think this wicket completely belongs to KL Rahul. He was just outstanding behind the behind the stumps time and time again. I think he showed that in this tournament that he's very much a wicket keeper now. Not, I think when he first started as a wicket keeper, he was more of how shall I put, a second choice wicket keeper, a backup wicket keeper. But now I think he can keep wickets full time in any formats because he has proved time and time again. I think we are all fans of that best fielder medal ceremony which happens in the dressing room after the game, and KL Rahul has got that medal twice now. He's the only player to get that best fielder medal twice in this one day World Cup, and I think today I won't be surprised that he will be given that medal again. I've just seen that Mohammad Shami has been given the man of the match. This time I agree with the fact that Mohammad Shami deserves that man of the match award, 5 for 18. I said that during the England game as well, that his 4-wicket haul deserved man of the match, but in the end it went to Rohit Sharma for his 87 of 101 deliveries. But today, rightfully so, it has been given to Mohammad Shami. He's picked up 14 wickets now in just 3 matches, against New Zealand, against England, and now against Sri Lanka. He's bowled exceptionally well, and good riddance with that man of the match award, Mohammad Shami, if you're listening this one, which I think you are not. So that was the Indian bowling, dismissing Sri Lanka for just 55 runs. But we should also talk about their impeccable batting form. You have to hand it to Indian bowling that when Shubman Gill scores 92, Virat Kohli scores 88, and Shreyas Iyer scores a magnificent 82 of 56 deliveries, despite so many good performances with the bat, it is overshadowed by the likes of Siraj, Bumrah and Mohammad Shami, that we are well into this podcast. We are like 12 and a half minutes in, and we are now talking about the magnificent Indian performance. We have already name dropped the likes of Gill, Kohli and Shreyas Iyer, helping India to a magnificent mammoth total of 357 for the loss of 8 wickets in their quota of 50 overs. It felt like this could be an off day for Indians with the bat when Rohit Sharma was dismissed in the very first over by Madhushanka, dismissed for just 4 runs. I think not the very first delivery, it was the second delivery of the game. The first one was a boundary, and the very next ball, the second delivery of the game, Madhushanka cleaning up Rohit Sharma, and it felt like, another off day, maybe not. We have seen the Indian batting collapse a little bit against England in the last game, but no, there was no doubt in my mind that would happen again, because when Shubman Gill and Virat Kohli formed that massive 193 run partnership, I think all the fears in Indian fans' mind was gone. Shubman Gill 92 of 92 deliveries and Virat Kohli 88 of 94 deliveries. Magnificent innings, some beautiful shots, I think that 1-6 which Shubman Gill hit down the ground was one of the best shots in the game. Yes, you could argue that once again an Indian batsman has failed to make it count on the big stage and didn't get those magical 3 figures. As things stand, only 2 players have scored 100 in this World Cup, and that is Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. We have seen so many 80s and 90s in this World Cup now from the Indian side, but yet again more disappointment. It could have been a wonderful occasion for Virat Kohli to match Sachin Tendulkar's record of 49 one-day international hundreds on the very ground Sachin Tendulkar calls home at Wankhede in Mumbai, with Tendulkar being there in the ground as well, supporting the UNICEF Foundation. But it wasn't meant to be. 88 for Virat Kohli, as I mentioned earlier, and 92 for Shubman Gill. But I think when Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill and Virat Kohli were all back in the pavilion, the score was 196 for 3 from 31 overs with 19 more overs to go. And I think Sri Lanka, you could forgive Sri Lanka for thinking that we have got a chance here to maybe restrict India to a total below 300, but Today was Shreyas Iyer's day. I think the 82 he scored was just class, and he stamped his authority all over the Sri Lankan bowling. There were murmurs surrounding his selection in the team as well because of his poor display against England and in the game against New Zealand as well, not being able to play the short ball too well. But today, Shreyas Iyer had that intent in him. He wanted to take the attack to the opposition. He was not bogged down by his recent bad form. And to be honest, his bad form is not something which has been happening for a very long period of time. He scored 100 against Australia in the one-day series right before the World Cup. He also played a really good knock against Pakistan in Ahmedabad, where he scored a half century in that occasion as well. So it's not been like he's been carried by the Indian team and he could be out of the door any moment in time. I think that's not been the case, but I think Shreyas Iyer's intent today was so clear. Yes, he had pressure to perform, but I think he didn't let that pressure get into his head, get into his shot selection, because 82 of 56 deliveries, just 3 fours but 6 maximums. Some of the sixes were just out of this world. I think he now holds the record for the longest six in this World Cup as well, 106 meter down the ground. He was just magnificent. He was commanded well by KL Rahul. I think KL Rahul scoring 21 of 19 deliveries, dismissed by Chamira. Sky came in, hit 2 fours down the ground, but I think he could have done better, but just 12 for him. And Ravichandran, I was going to say Ravichandran Ashwin. No, it was Ravindra Jadeja who chipped in with 35 of 24 deliveries, 1 4 and a 6 to take India to 357 for the loss of 8 wickets. Dilshan Madhushankar did pick up a 5-wicket haul. I think he became just the 4th Sri Lankan to have a 5-wicket haul in the history of the World Cup. But when you look at his economy, you can see that Indians were targeting him. He had an economy of 8. He bowled his full quota of 10 overs. Yes, he picked up 5 wickets, but he did go for 80 runs. 1 wicket for Chamira as well, and that was it. There were 2 runouts in the Indian innings, so that was all the wickets that Sri Lankans could have picked. But India is so good in this tournament that it's if the batting doesn't perform, the bowling will. If the bowling performs, then the batting can perform as well. It's a complete all-round performance, and this World Cup has shown that India are not just relying on just one player. We have seen that happen to Indian cricket time and time again in the past as well. We have over-relied on the likes of Virat Kohli. We have over-relied on the likes of Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan to give you a good start. We have obviously over-relied on Sachin Tendulkar when he was in his prime during the early 2000s. But the Indian team we are seeing today is so different. Today, Rohit Sharma didn't score runs, but that's okay. You have Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer to give you runs. One fine day, you will see Virat Kohli not scoring runs. You will see KL Rahul giving you a 50 on that occasion. Against England, we saw Surya Kumar Yadav chipping in with 49 of 47 deliveries. And when the batting is so good, and combine that with some brilliant fast bowling with the likes of Siraj, Shami and Bumrah at the top of their game, I think it is fair to say that India are now favourites for the World Cup. And I say this at the end of every single podcast episode, saying that how good India are, saying they are the favourites, and they've proved it time and time again. I'm recording this podcast where India have just thrashed Sri Lanka by 302 runs. They have dismissed Sri Lanka for 55 runs. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this is probably India's best performance. I don't think they will replicate this performance. I don't think they'll match this performance. I felt that against England. I'm feeling that again right now. But time and time again, India have an ace up their sleeve that pull it out, throw it on the table. And I think the performances just keep getting better and better. I think Ravi Shastri did say it in the commentary box, saying that you want these kind of performances in the knockout stages, in the semi-final and the final. That's where a good performance like this would have mattered. But I think, yes, Ravi Shastri is an expert. He is right. You need good performances in the knockout games of a tournament as well. But I think these are the kind of performances which will help India achieve those good performances in a semi-final, in a final. Performances like this will help the squad build up confidence and take that confidence into those big matches. Talking of big matches, on Sunday, India plays South Africa in Kolkata. And are they playing in Kolkata? Yeah, Eden Gardens, Kolkata. And that is going to be a precursor of what to expect in the knockout stages, in the semi-finals or the finals, because South Africa have been in some excellent form themselves. They recently beat, I think they beat New Zealand, didn't they? Yes, they beat New Zealand by a whopping 190 runs. They themselves scored 357 on that occasion. The likes of Quinton de Kock, Aiden Markram, Rassie van der Dusen are in some excellent form, and I won't be surprised that could be one of India's most difficult games heading into the World Cup. But so far so good for Team India. They've won 7 matches in a row now. They are at the top of the standings. The net run rate is in amongst the +2s as well now. Though India are on 14 points with a net run rate of 2.1. South Africa also have played 7 matches, but they've had 1 defeat, and that was against a surprise defeat to Netherlands back then. They are on 12 points with a slightly better run rate of 2.29. But I think that game, India versus South Africa at Eden Gardens on Sunday, is going to be, I think, a quarter-final. Not a kind of a quarter-final which you expect from FIFA World Cup or a tennis tournament where the loser is out of the World Cup. It is probably a practice match before the actual semi-final. Not saying that India will be playing South Africa in the semi-final, because assuming India tops the group, India will be facing the 4th best ranked side in the semi-final, which is also happening in Mumbai, by the way. So I think I read it somewhere that if India qualify for a semi-final, the semi-final will be taking place in Mumbai. But if so happens that Pakistan managed to claw themselves up to that 4th spot and they take on India, that game would be then played in Kolkata. Let's hope Pakistan can qualify for the semi-finals, because as things stands, it is so neck and neck for that final spot for the semi-finals. As things stand, one can safely assume that India and South Africa have qualified for the semi-finals. Australia are 70-80% there, but that final spot is open for the likes of New Zealand, Pakistan, even someone like Afghanistan can take advantage of New Zealand's recent run of poor form where they have lost 3 consecutive games. Afghanistan do face the Netherlands tomorrow, and if they win, they'll go to 8 points, and then it's going to be a real tug of war between those few nations around who can pick up that final spot in the semi-finals. But hey, India, this is a podcast talking about Indian cricket, and Indian cricket is on the up. It was always on the up, and it's getting to even more heights now. They're already at Mount Kanchenjunga, and Mount Everest is where we want them to reach. A 302-run victory over Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka winning the toss, putting India to bat. 357, 92 for Shubman Gill, 88 for Virat Kohli, and 82 of just 56 deliveries from Shreyas Iyer. Then the wonderful bowling attack. 55 all out Sri Lanka, 5 wickets for Mohammad Shami, your man of the match, 3 wickets for Mohammad Siraj, and a wicket apiece for Bumrah and Ravindra Jadeja. That's it for this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing on YouTube. If you're listening this on Spotify or Apple Podcast, make sure you're giving me those 5-star ratings and might as well follow me so you get notified when I upload a next episode. For the time being, this is me, Vatsal Vora, signing off, however. Ciao for now.